You're listening to the Low Pressure Podcast, the podcast for skiers.
Presented by CMH Heli-Skiing and Peak Performance.
This episode of the LPP is brought to you by CMH Heli-Skiing, Peak Performance Outerwear, Fat Tire Amber Ale, RMU Skis and Mountain Culture Shops, and the official destination partner of the LPP, Kicking Horse Mountain Resort in beautiful Golden, British Columbia. Enjoy the episode. All right, should we get started?
Let's go! Mark! I'm here!
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
You're going to crack a beer? Just at least crack it. You don't have to drink much of it. Just crack it. Why not? Welcome to Canada.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having my favorite beer here, a Fat Tire.
I didn't tell her to say that.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Canada.
I love Canada.
Your new home.
Yeah, spoiler alert, moving to Canada, making dreams come true.
That's pretty cool. So tell me, what is happening? Are you just over the United States and what's going on there? Should we get into a deep dive expose?
Well, I do like politics. I go to Capitol Hill quite a bit to lobby and whatnot for women in sports. Mm-hmm. But this is purely for my heart. I am obsessed with skiing in British Columbia, and I'm getting older, and it's time to ski the best place on earth. Everyone always asks me, hey, where's the best place to ski? Where's the best? I'm like, British Columbia. And I always try to, say the other things, but it's like the tree skiing here is like nowhere else in the world. It's insane. From going to CMH, all the the lodges, Retallick, Baldface, and then having this Whistler Blackcomb right here. A good friend of mine, Annie Boulanger, who's a local resident.
Snowboarder, ripper.
Yeah, we do an
surfer, ripper.
She's insane. Beautiful. We do an annual girls trip to Retallick.
Oh yeah, what do you guys call that? Isn't there like a name for it?
Well, there's a name for our group. It's
the Chudes.
The Chudes. Yes, because we're chick dudes
dudes.
Stuff. Yeah. Anyways, we go there, and there's this run called Stovepipe at Retallick. Have you ever been?
I haven't, no.
Okay, well, we have to go maybe next year together for another trip.
100%.
It's so sick because everything's so steep, and you just jump off little mushroom pillows, and then you land, and it's soft. And then you see another thing, and you're just following your friends. And there's this run called Stovepipe, which is the best run in the entire world. And Annie and I are buddies because you're supposed to ski with buddies in British Columbia because of the tree wells, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Annie, this is so sick. You can just pop off anything, do a spin, land, whatever it is. And she's like, why don't you just move to Whistler? She's French Canadian. I'm like, how do you move to Whistler? So that's kind of where it I knew I could always visit here, but I didn't realize I could establish myself here and bring my family up. And this will be my new home.
Right?
Yeah.
That's exciting. And you got the keys in your pocket?
Got the keys in my pocket.
We just went to check out your new place. That's exciting.
Yes, very, very exciting.
So you're here September, you're putting your kids in school, you're doing the whole full shebang.
Well, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a mom of 2 boys, and it's a lot of work. And I want to still be a professional skier, but I can't do the traveling, right? I can't go to Europe for 2 weeks. I can't go to Japan 2 weeks by myself because I'm a mom. I make the meals, I take them to school, I do all the things. So I want to base myself somewhere where they can go to school, be a part of the community, and then I can do my ski things, go to Whistler Blackcomb, film a TikTok, whatever it is, just be a part of, exploring this new location.
Who are your mom mentors in skiing?
Oh my gosh, I have so many. I actually just got back from in skiing, I'll get to there, but I just got back from the GoPro Mountain Games in Vail, Colorado, where they brought a bunch of mom content creators, and seriously all those moms that were there, Brooke, Emma, Tanya, she's from Jasper.
Tanya.
She's I don't know her last name. I just met her. These are just women, but they're awesome moms. Tata she's from Brazil. She does the skateboarding like I do, but it's just these moms doing rad stuff.
Yeah.
And it's super cool to see and be influenced, be you just.
Because we're the generation now where our moms weren't doing cool stuff because I don't think they knew that they could do that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas our generation now, you can do cool stuff, take a little break, have some kids, and be oh wait, I can still do the stuff that I thought was rad before.
Yes.
And this is the first generation that's really able to do that.
And it's the first generation of actually moms that are professional athletes before they have kids. And then they can come back to being a professional athlete. Where my mom, she couldn't even be a professional athlete. She couldn't even win a trophy because there was no trophy for her to win in the women's category. So we're like this whole new generation of like people that are showcasing that you can just like
of elite athletes that can still continue on. You know, having a kid doesn't end your life or ruin your life, you know?
To me, I really thought it was a career ender. Like it was like that was retirement, you know? Like,
and you just needed to talk to me to snap you out of it.
I don't know if you guys have listened, but I've been on the show before, which was so awesome. It was during the pandemic.
Yeah, you're one of the first Zoom ones, I think.
Yes.
And that's why I wanted to make sure I got you on in person.
Yeah, I just love talking to people in person, PS. But yeah, Mark, you really like catapulted this next phase.
So what was it? Was it like I don't remember like saying anything or whatever. Wow. I was just like, well, you're dope. Yeah, I've always been a fan of yours.
No way. You had no idea how much of an impact it was.
No.
Yeah, I think you had me on the show, number one, talked about me, and like you're like, oh, you're gonna come back, and like all these new skiers are gonna be like, who's Grete Eliassen? Oh, wait, she did all this stuff before. She was the first woman to win the Superpipe gold at X Games and then did it again the next year. Has this world record, all these things.
Yeah, world record of highest hip jump.
But the problem was...
Still stands.
When I did all these things, it was like, you know, there was no social media.
Right.
So, and then the big media companies weren't showcasing it. I actually just saw Slalom down at in Vail, too.
Yeah, he was there, too, yeah.
And him and I were discussing how, like, back in the day at X Games, they didn't show women's free skiing on the TV.
Right.
Like Sarah and I, Christy, we were all like throwing like our bodies into all these tricks that we were doing, but it was never on TV.
Right. And you never had that outlet, right? Now girls can have their own channel to promote themselves.
And there's now X Games has women's slopestyle. It has women's big air. You know, it still doesn't have the real ski, which is super annoying, right?
Yeah, I guess Taylor got in last year, so maybe that's a step in the right direction.
That was last year, and she had to compete against the boys.
Right.
I mean, is that fair? Is that where you want to go?
You said that you only have like 45 minutes, so I don't know if we can even start on that conversation.
I think it's important to create more opportunities because, like, even for like back in the day with the Powder Awards, there was only like 2 awards you could win, the pole and then women's performance, where the men had 10 awards, right? And if you won one of those awards, you got $10,000 from like your sponsor. Whereas a woman, we only had the chance to win the one. So that's already like 9 different things of like not fairness. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're changing. We're changing, getting more opportunities, getting more cameras, all the things.
And now you're like, oh, sweet, I can get back in on this. Like, so you just kind of took a break.
Yeah.
You basically laid the foundation, let them build the frame, and then now you're setting up the exterior. It's
so fun. I've always been like a camera person. Like I used to have a camera in my basement, and I would like film dances and
before TikTok.
Before my sister.
Before Vine, even.
Yeah, and my sister and I would just watch them. Yeah,
Do you
before
have
Vine.
Yeah, because I remember like when I grew up, all the girls in school would always just film their own little dances in the sweatpants in the basement kind of thing, and it turned into like this juggernaut of social media.
Right. Yeah. Well, for me, the reason I got on TikTok was originally just I wanted to just go to like clubs and dance because I love to dance just in general.
Yeah.
But then the pandemic happened and there was like no outlet for me to dance. And then my friend's like, well, just join TikTok and I'll watch your videos. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, because you've been working hard at it. I've been paying attention. So we have a TikTok account. Okay. I don't use it. Every once I have ideas for it, but it's one of those things where it's on the list of 12 things that I want to accomplish, where it's like projects or tasks, it's quite far down on the list, which is just a matter of scale, and it's how it's just a matter of organizational process, really. It's like what's important to me, right? So I haven't done it, but every time I do pop on there, I'm like, oh, Greta's giving her.
Yes.
You're like the only person that likes stuff. That
right. No way.
Because you're so active. I'm like, oh, yeah, sweet. Thanks, Greta.
Well, I just learned that TikTok is actually the most visited website in the world right now.
Right.
So, like, join it.
It's
Get on
off,
it. Let's go. At Greta.ski.
Yeah. Low pressure podcast. Or low pressure ski, I think. I'll post some stuff.
I just love TikTok because you, like, find new music, find new friends, find new, like, tricks that you want to do. Like, it's just, like, a great... like way to see
I'm not a big
things.
I don't like the dancing thing. I'm not a big fan of that.
There's way more than just dancing on TikTok.
Exactly, but I'm trying to I have ideas in my mind how to stylistically create a theme that runs throughout the channel or whatever you call it, the account.
Right.
Because you kind of have to have that sort of theme.
Yes.
Right? It has to be consistency, I think, so people know what they're going to get.
Definitely.
For lack of a better word. But I don't know. It's there. It's an idea. But same thing. You've inspired me to like, oh man, like watching you, like you said that, like, oh, you inspired me to get back into it. I was like, what? But then watching how full on, like you just turned the switch and you're like 100%. It went from like, oh, I can do this to bam, I'm back. Right?
You mean like the whole career and everything?
Yeah.
Like getting all the sponsors and like doing all these things. Like I'm Armada skis head to toe now. GoPro.
Right.
0.6 socks. Doing it all.
Right? Like it's impressive. Like right back into it.
I'm really good at like cold calling people. Or like just like saying, hey, can I have a backpack? Hey, can I have some skis? Hey, can you tune my skis? Like I'm really just good at that. And I'm not afraid of the no.
You know what? I noticed that too. You know what? So yesterday when we were chatting and you're like, hey, can you drive me to Pemberton at 3:45, very specific. And I was like, yeah, I can. No problem. We'll sit and we'll chat in the car, have a little mission.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about it. I'm like, that was so forward. But not in a rude way, but just forward to the point. And I was like, oh. And I thought, so I spent all day today sending emails out.
Yep.
A lot of that cold calling stuff, just it's this time of year.
Or cold emailing, DMing,
yeah,
whatever
we're
it is.
looking for sponsors for next season. We got our 10th anniversary coming up. We want basically someone from every component of the industry we should be aligned with.
That's
right?
insane, Mark. 10 years?
Yeah, it'll be 10th anniversary this season.
Thank you so much for creating this.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Thank you.
Cheers, Fat Tire.
There we go.
To 10 years. They've been your longtime sponsor of the show, right? 5 years at least?
4 years, I think.
Because we did our show 3 years ago.
I think it's been about 4. I think CMH has been 4, Fat Tires 3, I think.
I love CMH so much. Can we just talk about CMH Heli for like 2 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. So the last time, well, I don't know if I've done a podcast since the last time, but I went on their very last trip at the Bobby Burns Lodge this year. No, Bobby Burns? Yeah, the Bobby Burns Lodge.
And where was that is it in BC as well?
Yeah. It's just outside of Golden.
Oh, okay.
So I had a couple trips get canceled because of COVID this season. Last year they didn't run. I had a trip canceled from COVID the year before. So the reason I'd never really gone is because of COVID, really. But they've been amazing. They like last year they're like, yeah, we'll still sponsor you. They didn't run a single tour last year. That's how awesome these guys are.
Wow.
So we managed to figure it out when the last trip of the year. We got a big dump on the third day. It was a little schmooey down low, but it was awesome.
You just get picked up every run by a helicopter.
We did 17 runs
in a day?
2 of the 4 days.
Oh, wow.
17 pickups. It was crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, my legs were toast.
And I got a chance to go to CMH Kootenay, which is in a cusp, just north of Nelson. First time ever going to a heli lodge or heli operation.
That's when I was supposed to go to in February, and then it got canceled at like the last minute, like 4 hours before I was supposed to be there. They unfortunately had a COVID outbreak, and they're like, hey, we had to swap out the whole staff. We don't have enough time to redo it.
And CMH is under Icon Pass, right? They're owned by Alterra, which is in Solitude Mountain Resort, which is I'm an athlete at. They're Icon, and that's how I got connected to CMH. And I'm part of the Steep Shots and Pillow Drops.
Pillow Drops. Yeah, I was going to hopefully get to one of those with Carter.
It's like if you like to go heli skiing, number one. And if you want to like jump off stuff and like do tricks, you sign up for Steep Shots and Pillow Drops.
Yeah. I've been trying to get on. I was talking to Rogie about that too. I'm like, we got to go do that. Because I was like, I want to go on that trip.
Yes.
And ski hard and then have the GoPro and then create a little video and show people what it's all about.
And that's what we do too, is we film each other, right? Yeah. Everyone's got a GoPro on. Everyone's like doing the things, and then we show how to edit, and it's just amazing.
I've already started working out.
Yeah, to get ready for next year.
Yeah, the last 2 seasons I've had this weird leg thing going on.
Aww.
This leg strength, in muscle imbalance, body imbalance thing, and I went to these folks in town called the Realignment Lab, and they kind of assessed.
Oh, nice.
What was happening, and then it was like simple stretches and flexing, and then a little bit of workout, and then mixed in with, massage.
Yep.
And then back to it. And then it was a big step forward this season. It still wasn't great. And then now, usually I start thinking about working out in like August. I've already started.
That's amazing.
While I'm doing those emails, and you spend an hour sitting down and you start thinking about it and you're getting worked up. I have a skipping rope. I just walk outside and I hit the skipping rope.
That's my next thing. So since I do the TikTok dances.
Are you going to do the TikTok skipping?
You've seen the rope, right?
Yeah.
The jump rope. And I swear I get like all my closest friends and family are like, Greta, when are you going to do this? And I've tried a couple and it's so hard. But I will. I'm going to get into it more because it's such a great workout and you don't need much. You just need like a floor and a rope.
Yeah.
And some really good music to like jump with the beat.
Oh, you want to do the dancing, like the choreography to
it's
the
like,
skating rope?
it's like you just like, you're dancing, but jump roping, and you know how hard jump roping is.
Yeah,
like,
I'm just getting into like singles.
Yes.
And then I got to get back to the double unders. Can you do those?
Yeah. Double unders for sure. Yep. And crisscrosses.
You get the whip marks on your arms.
Gosh, it hurts so bad. Yeah. But anyways, go to CMH. I'm so excited to go there. I hope I can go back next year.
Right.
I want to go to all the lodges and like document it.
All 12 of them.
Yes.
All 12.
I'm going to do the Grete CMH
Tour de
13 project.
Yeah. Do it. You can do the summer ones too. Summer,
Yes.
they're doing right now. You can go heli hiking. It's so rad. Mm-hmm. It's so sweet. It's so good. I love it.
I love just being out in the mountains.
Right.
And like, it's
and now
amazing.
you're back.
And
So
now I'm back.
you're moving here in September.
Moving here in September. Basically, it's like I've loved Utah. I went to college there. I moved there from Norway, right? So I've only been there for, I guess, 15, 16 years.
So you grew up in Norway, right?
Yeah, I went to middle school and high school in Norway.
All right, let's get back to that. 'Cause I don't know if
Okay.
we'd covered that or not.
I don't know if we did. I'm a dual citizen.
Right. All right,
Yeah.
so get back to coming to Canada.
Okay, so yeah, back to Canada. Just so excited to be here, and again, just have this as my base and like create content from this amazing valley. There's like a billion valleys around here. Just from our drive today, like I saw
There's a reason that
so many mountains.
Like the percentage of professional skiers and snowboarders is such a high concentration in this spot isn't by mistake.
Yep.
It's not by mistake.
Yeah, no. I've been coming here since I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
So I won actually the national slalom championship in Norway as a young
You won
racer.
the Norwegian slalom?
Yes. Yeah.
Holy
So
smokes.
14-year-old. I was a big ski racer. I don't know if you knew that.
But that's insane.
So won that.
Okay, so let me just pause you for a second. All right, so I've had a lot of people on this show, and there's a very similar path for many of them, right? You grow up and you get entered into ski racing, you get into moguls, you get in some sort of like
Structured coaching. type thing.
coaching program, and that's what makes them such excellent skiers, that they can take those skills that they develop to become one of the best free skiers on the planet, whether it be freestyle or free ride, whatever it is.
Just coming down the mountain nicely.
But usually it's to the point where, well, I was in this program, I didn't quite cut it, I was kind of on the cusp,
No.
I wasn't loving it, and I moved forward. You won
Top. Beat Lindsey Vonn.
slalom
Yeah.
in Norway,
Yeah.
which is like, that's like hockey in Canada.
I grew up with Axel Lindsvindal and Kjetil Jansrud. Like, Kjetil and I were on the same team.
Okay, so you were at the top of the
Norwegian
heap.
downhiller. Yeah.
Then why did you switch over to...
Well, pretty obvious. I mean, I love to jump. And jumping is not fast in skiing. If like, you're doing downhill super G, you have to absorb.
Right.
And I would pop off the jumps, the knuckles, and get
And
as
you'd
much
launch
air.
way too far.
And I just love jumping. And I knew skiing around gates, like rules, people saying you need to go here at this time and do this. That was not me. I know I seem like I'm a cookie cutter, like
A little
rule
bit.
abiders,
Honestly, a little bit.
but
It's the mom thing, maybe.
yeah, no, it's fine.
Or it's just the fact, I think, that you are very specific with what you do when you do it.
Yeah.
There's no wishy-washiness to you.
No.
It's like, this is happening, and this is how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then what?
Well, I mean, so back to my like story about my skiing, I didn't like being put in a box. I didn't like being put in a box. And I just loved jumping, and I saw what was happening here at Whistler, like the camps, you know,
Yep.
the movies were coming out, The Game, Parental Advisory, Sarah Burke, Christy Leskinen. I was like, who are these chicks? That's what I want to be doing. And I actually got a chance to come to camp. So I just made the national alpine team, the Skiforbundet, in Norway.
Gesundheit.
Skiforbundet.
What's it called?
Skiforbundet.
Okay.
So it's like the Norwegian ski team.
Okay.
That's the name of it.
Yeah.
And so we stayed at the Fairmont. Like
Yeah.
I was a young 14-year-old girl, or did a race here. I think Andrew Wybreck was the American that won, like that kind of time. And I had no idea Canada looked like this, because I grew up in Minnesota too, and we have Thunder Bay just north, and they
Yeah.
don't have mountains there, right?
My family's from Thunder Bay.
And I remember, driving up the Sea to Sky in the bus, and I was like, I didn't know they had fjords here, like the inlets, like in Norway. And I was honestly just like floored the first time. As a little like young teenager, 14 years old, just blown away. And I just remember this place. And then these movies were coming out, and I'm like, I have to go to camp. I have to get on that glacier where my idols are. I
Yeah.
need to be there, and I need to meet them, and I want to like emulate what they're doing, and I want to be a part of the scene. Came here, went to camp. at Momentum Camp was called Smart Mogul Skiing back in the day.
For John Smart's.
John Smart, yeah. Sarah was a coach, Philou Poirier, Yannick B. It was incredible. I remember seeing Pep like over at the High North Camp. Like I think I rode the T-bar with him. It was just like, whoa, this is so insane. Anyways, I impressed them. I impressed Sarah. Sarah taught me how to do a 540 here, like on the glacier. My first 540, she filmed it. Yeah, girl. Philou taught me how to like 270 off rails, or we had PVCs back then. There was one rail, and it was, I remember like falling on it. I didn't know how to slide metal back then. Or what do they call the metal? Yeah, metal.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways,
I'm the wrong guy to ask.
Yeah.
I'm
so
still
fun.
learning about that aspect of free skiing. I'm a sponge. I don't try to claim that I know what's happening, because I was never a park kid. Okay. But I appreciate it and I like it.
What do they call it? The street kids. Okay. I'm trying to be cool. Anyways, I'm not that cool. I'm a mom. But Philou connected me with the Oakley rep. Yeah. And that's how I got sponsored by Oakley. And then I got sponsored by Armada. Mm-hmm. And then I won the US Freeskiing Open. Or I won the Rip Curl overall event first. And being an overall skier has always been like my bread and butter. I love doing it all, from ski racing to moguls to jumps to rails to powder.
So you're just like, even though you were at the top of your game.
Yeah. Okay. So I won.
And did you have a lot of pushback?
So this is still. I skipped a part.
Corn mazing. We talked about this in the car today.
Yeah. Okay.
The corn mazing. I do the same thing, so I appreciate it. So as long as we bring it right back to the original spot, we can find the end.
So basically, came here for camp, but I was still on the national team for ski racing. Mm-hmm. And I remember Yannick and Sarah being like,
"What are you, like 15, 16 then?"
I'm only 15 years old, and they're like, "You should quit skiing. Like you should come do what we're doing."
When you're 14, did you win the juniors or the?
This is just juniors.
Okay.
Yeah. But. So I'm like, I had this experience, but I'm still in the national team. I have to put my speed suit back on. The kind of the dream of this free skiing thing is not over, but I'm like, I don't know how to quit ski racing. I don't know how to say I quit to the coaches.
And you're just over it mentally.
Yeah, but I continue, and I'm like, I'm going to do well. I end up winning the junior worlds in Super G. And like the same year, I'm racing Europa Cup. I'm beating Lindsey Vaughn, different things like this. It was technical races.
When's the last time you saw her?
I saw her at a Red Bull event in New York City. That was the last time I saw her. It was a long time ago. It's like the launch of the New York Red Bulls.
If you ever saw her again, would you be like, next time you see her, you'd be like, hey, remember that time I kicked your ass?
Yeah, I just posted. I don't even think she knows who I am.
Remember, even though you're one of the greatest of all time, remember that time I beat you and I decided I was going to do something cooler?
And I don't know if you can tell, but I get like mistaken for Lindsey Vaughn all the time too, because we're similar.
Blondes, skiers.
From Minnesota.
You all look the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just went the jump route. She went the fast route.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy skiing fast, but not like that much. I like hitting things better.
Do you think if you kept going, you would have been up in her level?
No, like I said, I was like not, it wasn't my passion. I had like But
I'm just talking like straight skill wise. Do you think that if you had kept going, do you think that if you had the passion?
And the weight, I mean, there's so many factors that.
No.
I don't think so. I just like, it's so like not even in my mind like that I would even want to do that.
Right.
So anyway, I quit that and then I do the stuff, the free skiing.
And here you are.
Here I am 20 years later. That's when I was here 20 years ago.
Wow.
At camp. And now I'm a adult coach for Adult Week here at Momentum this week.
So up here for a week. You went, I like whenever I go somewhere, especially if I go back down to the city, like Vancouver, to go home and stuff, I always make sure I fill it full of things that I have to do. Yeah. There's no wasted time. Mm-hmm. So we went today and picked up the keys for your new house.
Yep. I went to TMC, the sports shop in town. Got some new Armada skis
Shout
mounted.
out Yoski and TMC is like the longest, raddest independent ski shop in town. If you're skiing on the glacier for camps, TMC is your spot.
Yep. He finished mounting my skis in like 30 minutes or like an hour. Done. Everything.
Yeah. Yoski's a legend. So TMC... like TMC Freeriders with the Z. Mm-hmm. Was it True Matrix Core? I think it was originally called. I have my old stickers from like 20 years ago. I'll show you.
And his dad started it. He used to do double front flips. Toshi.
Yeah.
And Toshi also instructed in Norway skiing.
Yeah, his dad's a legend.
Yeah.
And then so TMC, the shop above, like the shop, they have like they're Japanese, and there's a Japanese like English school for all the Japanese kids that come to Canada because they get the visas really easily. And in that shop, you can buy the classic TMC toques. You can get guitar strings. You can buy guitar. You can buy vinyl. You can get a skateboard.
I just picked up a Hawaiian shirt for Hawaiian Day because that's like the style right now is like the bra and the open Hawaiian shirt for girls in high jeans. So I got mine for Friday. I'm psyched.
It's one of the last like independent shops in town and kind of like a variety shop. Like there used to be a handful, but really that's all there is now. Because now Whistler is like, it's always been a corporate, you know, city.
Interwesty,
yeah, exactly, right? So
yep.
you get like the, you know, Evo came in and bought a bunch of the shops and whatnot, but TMC is just still TMC. There used to, when I was first here, there's a handful of those little independent shops. Now there's like none. But that one's holding on strong. So
yeah. It was rad.
Yeah.
So I'm like so excited that I have my shop to go to because it's really important as a skier too to have like your technician. Like that's just been kind of my thing too.
See, I don't ever understand that only because
what?
You don't. So this is
it's like not having a mechanic for your car.
Controversial opinion. You don't need to wax your skis very often.
Well, if you want your skis to last,
yeah,
you should wax your skis.
You don't really need to wax your skis. I ski 70 to 100 days a year for the last 20 years.
I just enjoy
I
it.
will wax my skis maybe twice a year, and it's because it's going to be wet and sticky.
Do you get a new pair of skis every year?
Not every year.
Almost, though.
Kind of.
So that's why. If you want your ski to last for like 10 years, you have to take care of it.
Fair enough. To be honest with you, the reason that I'm sitting here talking to you right now, like there's a microphone in front of me, is because I wanted to figure out a way to be able to do what I love, but be able to get it as cheaply as possible, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't plan on doing this as a job.
The podcast, yeah.
Exactly.
Right now.
I did this so I could get some free skis, so I could maybe get some free hotel rooms, so I could maybe get some cheap gear. Worked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's worked out, but
totally.
Yeah, that's the reason I do it, right? It's not because I have like this excellent skill. Like I'm a good skier because I've skied all that time, right? Like I'm better than the average bear, but there's a definite separation between myself and pro skiers. Absolutely.
And I've actually never skied with you, so I can't like tell, but it sounds like you know what you're doing.
I know.
Yeah.
I like to be humble, sort of, because it's like, well, yeah, obviously, because you can't ski for 2,000 days in 20 years and not be good at what you're doing. You know what I mean? That's just...
Why did you never want to like pursue the competitive route of skiing?
I just wasn't good enough.
What do you mean?
Like, what do you mean?
You can always be good enough.
No, I did some skier cross races earlier in the day.
Oh,
That's
like,
fun.
so you grew up ski racing, then you
No, I never did.
Oh, but you got into skier cross.
Well, just because they had races on in
I would never do a skier cross.
I was just always a free skier. I grew up in Whistler.
Yeah.
Right? It snows. I'm going to go shred something rad. I skied like 15 years between the two mountains, and I was still finding little zones and little pockets and little corners that I'd never been to before.
I love it.
And I ski all day, every day on both hills.
Yep.
Like, I love like having you even when we were driving down the highway today, and you're like, wow, these mountains are so big.
They're so big.
And I was telling him, like, everywhere I go that isn't Whistler, like, I'm so spoiled from being here. Everywhere I go, it's like, really? That's it? Except for maybe Europe, the Alps.
And you have to go to Norway, too. You haven't been there yet. It's very dramatic landscape.
Yeah, I want to do the, like, peak to the ocean fjord
Yes.
spring mission. Maybe we'll plan something.
Nord-Norge.
Yes.
This got to Nord.
Yes, what you said.
Fask.
Right? But, like, I'm so spoiled from being here. Other than maybe, like, Jackson.
Yep.
To a lesser extent, maybe Alta.
Alta, Utah?
Yeah.
We were talking about Alta on here?
Alta was fun because I was skiing with like
yeah.
I was skiing with Pep and I was skiing with.
Oh yeah, the vibe there is good.
I got to ski with Pep and Sturbins. And
I just still don't like how they don't allow snowboarding. It's like, what is up with that?
We'll have to have a chat about that.
But I love Alta. I love the terrain. I lived right next to it.
Yes, and then like places
canyon.
like that where I've been to, I'm like, okay, you've got something going on. But most places I've been to in the States, it's like, that's it, really.
Right.
Like
we're like here, it's just like endless. You start from the sea the sea in Vancouver and you drive in these mountains.
Squamish.
And they just keep going all the way to Calgary, right?
Kind of. That drive, if you get it, actually this summer this fall when you're up here, you should do a road trip with the family because it's phenomenal. You go from Whistler over the Duffy Lake Road to which is one of the greatest like ski touring zones in Canada.
Amazing.
And
can you access the Duffy without a snowmobile, or do you have to have a snowmobile?
No, it's almost exclusively non-snowmobile.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, Duffy
Human
Lake
powered.
Yeah, Duffy Lake's all ski touring.
Wow.
Yeah, all ski touring.
Cool. I
And
had no
then
idea.
You
That's
can
great.
you can take a sled up a road, like a logging road.
Yep.
And then you just ditch it, and then you ski tour to like from one of the huts.
Amazing.
Yeah. Then you get past the Duffy Lake Road, and you get to Lillooet, and then by then you're over the over the coastal range and you're on the lee slope, and it turns into almost like desert landscape. And
Really?
It's really, really beautiful. And you go
But
through
easy
like,
driving because it's just
it's
probably
amazing.
straight, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like us when I yeah.
Well, easy is different. It depends on the conditions, right? But
Okay.
then once you get over the Duffy, and then you get past Lillooet, it's
then
straight.
it's Kelowna.
Yeah. No, Kamloops.
Oh, Kamloops, yeah.
And then from Kamloops, you get like Salmon Arm to Revy.
I still have never been to Revy. I've never skied there yet. I know, right?
And Goal and Kicking Horse.
Never
King
done
Horse
it.
is so so sweet.
Excited.
Anyways,
Yeah.
oh man, I'm excited for you. I'm so excited. I love.
That's where my new mom friend is, Tanya. I don't remember her last name, but she skis at Kicking Horse or snowboards. Yeah.
Sweet. So that's like one of the things that like I love. I was getting back to the point. Is you're like, oh, look at these mountains. I love showing people my home. I love showing people around. Like Rogi, I told you, was out here with the Ski the East guys earlier this winter. Mm-hmm. And I got the chance to like show them around Blackcomb, and they were like, oh my God, this is a place. Look at this. This is one little zone access. Wow, they lost their minds. I'm like, this is so sweet. I love it. It gets me fired up even more.
Well, I'm worried then, am I spoiling my kids by moving here? Like, are they just
Absolutely. You're a great mom. Good for you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I want to like use what I have to help them too. And it's, yeah.
Don't you want the best for your children?
Yes.
Then that's a good,
Okay.
you made the right choice.
I don't want to spoil them.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
because this is, again, my
No,
like
spoil
favorite place in the entire world. So,
Yeah, sign them up for ski school too.
yeah.
Make
And
sh-
I remember last time we were chatting, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I just like being home with them. And this is when they were like rolling on the floor, they couldn't walk.
Yeah.
But this year they actually did the ski program at Brighton Resort. Best thing I ever did. They went once a week for a half day.
And you get the day to yourself.
These amazing, no, I was like, yeah, they were already going to be in school, but this was like, it was part of the school. They went to school and then half of the day was skiing. But yeah, I would do like the rails, and I actually saw them ski across the park one day. It was so cute, into the woods with their instructors, Steph Funny and Sharon from Brighton Ski School. Thank you so much.
You should make sure you check in. I don't know what Vail's deal is now. They've changed a lot of things. I'll keep neutral on that, but they've changed a lot of things. So just make sure you find out what the programs are, because they do
Cool.
the same sort of thing. There's
Yeah.
lots of kids camps and
Rad.
Saturday, Sundays.
Yeah.
Come
Or
in.
yeah, during the week or whatever.
Come in, drop like
Yeah.
Whistler Freeride Club
Mm-hmm.
is quite possibly one of the greatest freeride clubs in the world. The feeder, basically it's a feeder tour to kids that want to enter like the IFSA Freeriders or the Freeride World Tour. Like,
Can we talk about that for a minute? I don't know
Absolutely.
if you guys are listening, but I got the chance to work with the University of Utah Freeride team this year in collaboration with Red Bull, where I helped basically just give them new opportunities. We took them to Woodward. I taught them how to like trampoline and jump into foam pits, because there's a Woodward right up the street from the University of Utah. We did an Avi clinic day with Safe Ass, Michelle Parker, Ingrid Backstrom. We did a day, or I went up to the Targhee comp, which was so fun. Like, I don't know if you heard about the IFSA. It's only a 2-star up at Targhee, but it's a great intro into freeride.
Yep.
If you're a college kid and want to like just try a comp for the first time, I highly recommend going to the Targhee one. And we did a college mixer there, which was super fun, like an après mixer, and the kids really enjoyed it. I mean, they're all 21, so it was great, but I call them kids, but they're like, they're my favorite people in the world. I just love like collaborating with this next generation. I don't know if you spend much time with them like this.
through the Freeride World Tour, yeah, because there's a new...
Oh, Ross Tester. Ross Tester is one of my
Ross
athletes.
Tester,
Yeah.
Olivia McNeil from here in Whistler.
Yes.
Lily Bradley, that's coming on up. Like the next, Abel Moga.
Yep.
So there's this season. So we, as you know, I do the Freeride World Tour podcast as well.
Which is awesome. I listen.
Which with Derek Foose, who basically runs the Whistler Freeride Club. He's the head coach, and he's also the announcer for the Freeride World Tour. But we were talking, and it's like there has been a bit of a shift to the new generation, and I think moving into next season, there's going to be a huge change. There's a lot of fresh names where you show up and you're like, I don't know who these people are.
Well, no, and the kids on my team, they're like, we can't even get into certain IFSA comps because they fill up so fast. I mean, this like
It's pretty cool, hey?
This industry is just exploding, and then all the like the junior teams, like the snowbird team, like there's all these like youth kids. They don't ski race anymore. They're on freeride. Everyone's doing freeride, which is so rad. Because I think again, it's back to the no rules. It's like this huge cheer squad at the bottom. Everyone's like supporting each other.
And you get to be creative with your line. There's no gates. I'm like, I'm gonna ski as hard and as cool as I think I can, right?
And I think that's so great. I think that's what this sport is all about, is just evolving and just be free thinkers. That's why it's called free skiing. There's not supposed to be any rules or coaches.
Right.
Like, I know I said I was a coach. I'm like, but I literally made these opportunities.
And that's the reason
and I
why.
Said, great job, but don't do that if it's like too windy.
That's the reason why you're sitting here now is because you're like, I don't want to do this racing thing anymore. So let's get back to that. So you're like
the Junior Worlds.
And you're like, all right, cool. I'm going to go and do this thing. Because then it was probably 2005-ish, 2006-ish.
I probably quit ski racing in 2004, maybe, or
so
3.
you were like, right, this is like
early.
The seed had been planted.
Yep.
With like the Real Canadian Air Force.
That
was
they were
really
making
kicked
money.
it out. And this is like 2 or 3 years after. And it's like, okay, I'm getting in on this. This is really starting to gain momentum.
I actually remember having a conversation with Mike Douglas at camp because he was going to help me get on Solomon at the time, which never happened. No big deal. That's why I went to Armada, which is awesome.
What the hell, Douglas?
But he told me
kidding.
Sarah's probably making $100,000 a year just doing what she's doing. And that was like, boom.
2007.
Yeah, this is 2003,
Yeah.
2004. And I went home to my mom and I'm like, I'm only 15, right? I'm like, I want to quit ski racing. And I didn't say quit ski racing because I didn't know how to say that out loud. It's just hard.
Right.
But I was like, I want to do this type of skiing. Mm-hmm. And Sarah's getting paid $100,000 a year. Like, I can do this. And my mom's like, okay, Greta, like, good luck. Even though she supports me in every way, but like, she didn't even think it was possible. Right. And here I am now. And I did make $100,000 quite a few years in a row, which was awesome.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Did you save? Did you put things away? Did you manage to
That's all I do. I remember like, cause Sarah always had the blow it if you got it, like logo, like, or saying whenever she won, she'd take us all out. And I'm like, girl, we don't make that much money. Like I just won $2,000. I didn't make that much. Like I'm saving this.
Right.
It wasn't like the guys, like they made $40,000 for winning X Games. I won $2,000.
Times have changed now. Hey, like back in the day, the golden age, money with people were just throwing money. Now it's like squeezing water from a stone.
Yeah.
Do you disagree?
No, yeah, I agree. It's just there's so many more like influencers. There's so many more people out there that the companies are sending money to.
Right.
But there is actually there is a lot of marketing dollars still out there. You just have to figure out how to get them.
You need to put together one of those like courses.
Oh, like how to get the sponsors.
Like an online course.
I actually do this with quite a few like up and coming.
Like coaching?
No, like not like I don't charge a fee or anything. It's like I follow a lot of like up and coming.
You're acting as a mentor.
Yes, but I watch a lot that goes on the internet, and I love watching like the women's content, like Olivia Asselin coming out of Quebec, like all Bella Bacon. I'm just like the first like fangirl, like fire, like and all their stuff. And I will definitely
fire emoji.
Just all like this is and like repost the story, like watch this. And I definitely like sit down with them, like you guys need to ask like for more. Like you need to do this. Like it's important.
Have you ever considered like hosting a camp?
Hosting my own camp?
Yeah. But for like the up and coming like skiers and stuff, and like doing almost like a mentorship camp, like a coaching camp where it's like, hey, I went through this. This is what you can expect. Learn from my mistakes. Learn from my experience. But also, let's all get together and brainstorm and like come together and be like, hey, this is. I know there's a lot of that going on, but it's a lot of camaraderie about riding and that sort of thing. But there's safe as clinics and there's all these like women centric. Did
you see my hat, Women's Sports Foundation?
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about this, but it's all about getting more girls involved with sports.
Right.
And I was the president of the Women's Sports Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah, for 2 years.
Now, do you get where I'm coming from? Is that what that is?
That's basically, it's not like my own camp, but that's how I'm like, I connect with girls that don't ever get the chance to play sports. And like, how do we get them on the field? And because
there's two things. There's that, like, how do you get girls into sports? But then how do you get
professionalize it?
But then how do you get the up and comers?
Right.
There's Taylor now. There's Bella Bacon.
Yep.
They've just really kind of stepped into like we're the boss bitches kind of thing.
Yeah,
Pardon the expression, but like they're
are you seeing the views that they're getting? Like
they're the queens right now, but there's all those girls just behind them.
Yep.
That still have to learn from those that went ahead of them. Now, are there little camps or are there like do you have camps or do you have gatherings or get-togethers where you can be like, hey, let's get together, let's have a dinner, let's spend 3 or 4 days. Let's ski together. Let's have some fun. But also, let's talk about this stuff. Let's teach you guys how to do it.
Yes. So I have this dream of mine, and it's called the Sarah Burke Throwdown, and I want to do it here at Whistler.
You told me about that after
Yes.
that. I don't think we talked about it on the podcast.
We still haven't done it because
we
of
talked
freaking
about it
COVID.
after.
For COVID, it's just
Right.
like, and then this year was an Olympic year, but my dream is to bring all the OGs like me and like, Carrie Herman, Ashley Battersby.
You think she'll come?
She said she would come. She would do a little rodeo. If I built like a small jump for her, she said she would do a little rodeo.
Yeah.
And she's getting married this summer too. Anyways, yeah, Battersby. But I want to bring them all up. And then I also want to bring the young guns, like the next gen. And then we just like talk about all the stuff and like help them.
And tell them the stories. This is
they
where we
help
came
us
from. This
do
is
the new
what we
tricks.
did. This is how it happened.
Yeah.
And then get them to tell you about what they're experiencing because they can teach you guys stuff too.
It's kind of like an alumni association where we want to bring them and we want to make sure that they know there's this whole crew of women that have their backs. Like we're like, if you need help, like we are all here. And that's why I want to make the event, the Sarah Burke Throwdown.
We talked about that after we turned the mics off last time, I think.
Oh, we did, yeah.
And I was like, I want to be a part of that. And any way I want to help.
And there's only like a few of us that are like Danny Astley, Carrie Herman that are like doing 720s, switched 720s and the things. But I feel like if we just all came together, like there's so many events for, at least snowboarders have a lot of events, right, to go to. Here, there, they have like these meetups where skiing, especially for us older people, like we don't have any meetups. Can you think of any? For all of us, like to go like ski. Like, how would I go ski with Turpin? Like, where would I go to, like, meet him? Like, we don't have, like, the
You
the
just
bank
call him
slalom.
up. He lives in Pemberton.
We don't have, like, the bank slalom.
I love that you bring up
like,
Turpin. Turpin's name has been brought up, I think, more
because
than
he's still
anybody's.
shredding. He's still shredding, and it's like, I see it, and it's so awesome, and it motivates me to want to
I don't know if he had a
tricks.
pass this past year. I know he's been working on some stunt stuff. But anyways.
Oh, still. Anyways.
But yeah, like, I know what you mean.
We
It's
need
like,
a gathering.
Yeah.
We need a gathering. And that's why I was talking to Lexi DuPont this winter. I'm like, you need to make an event and I'm coming because I'm sure it'll be some sort of a helicopter, like Alaska thing. And I just want to go, like hang and see with her.
Right.
So we just got to make stuff up.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Well, I'm stoked that you're moving here. Like today was the first time we've actually met in person.
Yeah.
But we
But I
communicated.
feel like I've known you forever because I listened to your podcast. I've been on your podcast.
Yeah, that's so-
I follow you on social.
It's funny because like a lot of times that's so weird for me. People are like, hey, but at the same time, I've followed you
Yep.
for such a long time, and I feel like I've known who you are as well. So it doesn't feel weird in this situation.
No, it's like kind of like equal, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's enough information of both of us out there.
Yeah,
that we
which
could-
kind of blows my mind because it's like I was telling you I've done this for 10 years now. I'm like, holy crap, 10 years. But people are like, oh, I love your show. And like, I've talked to people for 10 years. They know who I am, which still boggles my mind.
You're kind of like that guy, like when you're in the airport and you see like a celebrity and you're like, how do I know that? You don't know who they are, but it's because they're on TV or they have a voice.
I'll tell you one thing. So airports, I've run into like a few pro skiers in airports that I didn't personally know that I've seen.
Yeah, you didn't say hi or you did?
No, I did.
Yeah.
But this is before like anybody really knew what the Low Pressure Podcast was. Like
LPP.
JT Holmes,
Yeah.
Gus Kenworthy.
So JT Holmes Jr. I filmed with him for Warren Miller last year at Solitude. He did like the big ski flying.
Yeah.
Just
So
crazy.
anyway, so JT and then Gus Kenworth, and I approached them both at the airport, and it was like,
Oh, you didn't have. Oh, sorry, I got it. Yeah,
I didn't know them.
but you knew them.
And I
obviously.
approached them.
Gus is.
I was like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, yeah. So, like, JT, we're in San Francisco, and there was like flights being delayed and canceled, and it was the middle, and I'm like, wrong place, wrong time. I saw Gus, I said hi to him, and he's like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, get away from me, guy that wants something from me. And it was just, don't approach people in the airport.
But it's. Oh yeah, I know. One time,
Don't do it because you're not getting anything out of it. I eventually.
Well, you could get a photo.
I was. Yeah,
I got a photo with Questlove once, and I asked. It was 5 a.m. on a train in DC, and I'm like, his comb was in his hair. I'm like, can I just get a quick photo? He's like, yeah, sure. He just had his like laptop on. He just like sat down. But it's so nice, and now I have a photo with him, and I think it's pretty cool.
I'm not much of a photo guy, but
I love it. I print him out and like put him up in my house. I'm like, I saw
up-
that celebrity.
when I was in Tahoe, I ended up running into my friend Natalie, who works for Protect Our Winters Canada, which I'm
Rad.
part of. And she was dating a guy that was living in Tahoe. I ended up going over to the house for dinner and blah, blah, blah. Turns out they were family friends with JT. He just shows up for dinner. And I was like, oh, hey, I'm Mark, blah, blah, blah. Like, I met you in the airport. I told him that story. And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
sounds about right. I'm like, yeah. So I've learned to not bother people in the airports.
Yeah.
Because in the airport is like, I don't want to fucking talk to anybody in the airport. If
Right.
someone doesn't, I'll be nice to them.
Yeah.
But I'm in my own, like, I'm in airport mode.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I remember, I haven't been in airplane mode for so long because of COVID. So I haven't traveled or been on airplanes very much in the last few years, except like this week, right? I've been
Except
on,
for
a lot.
like just the other day.
And I'm like a little more outgoing because I'm like, I don't know if this is going to keep happening. Like, I don't know. So I haven't been in, but I remember when I used to like take my ski bag and like roll over people with my ski bag. I was like getting to my gate.
You're in airport zone, right? You're like, I'm in my zone. I'm listening to my music. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
I'm getting to where I need to be, when I need to be, because this is a mission. This is like, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
I'm getting this. Don't talk to me.
Where now I'm more like, I want to enjoy this experience. Like, I'm
'cause
going to
you've
buy the
been-
clear.
you've
I'm
been-
going to like do the thing.
You've been cooped up with kids for so long.
Yeah,
You're like,
so
I
I-
need human interaction.
You probably didn't see, but I did like a TikTok. You know, DIA, the airport in Denver, has that huge security line. You know, when
Yeah,
you
I
walk
did see
in.
that.
And
yeah, you're dancing in front of
So
the
like,
thing.
how many times you go to, you're just like, oh, this sucks, like this huge line. And I was by myself waiting for my shuttle pickup, and I'm like, I'm gonna do a TikTok in front of this group of people, and no one even stopped me or said
That
anything.
mind boggles me because there's no way in hell I'm ever going out of my way to draw attention to myself at an airport.
No one cares. No one even saw me. No one even saw me. I swear, no one stopped me.
No,
Nobody cares, Mark. Like, that's the thing.
Good for you.
That's
That's
what
why
I've
you're
learned.
better than I am. There's no way. I'm at an airport. I'm putting my head down. I don't want people to talk to me. I don't want people to suspect anything of me. I've got nothing to be suspicious of. But don't talk to me. Just leave me alone. Let me get through. Don't ask me any other questions. Okay, yeah, this is what I've got. This is what I'm going. I'm going
Yeah,
over here.
that's what I'm saying. But like, no one even
But
noticed me.
meanwhile, you're
Like,
standing at the entrance to like the TSA line and
Yeah.
you're doing some kind of
I was doing the
Macarena.
do the wiggle, and the
yeah.
my money don't.
yeah.
It falls or folds. Yeah. Anyways, I'm excited to go back and do another one.
Oh my
Get a little
God.
more extreme.
Why VR?
Because that floor was so nice. That like marble.
should do it.
I got to learn some breakdancing moves, and then I can like spin around.
Start spinning.
Yes.
You when you go to Vancouver, there's that beautiful like jade, like copper jade canoe statue.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? It's right in between the international and the domestic departures.
Okay.
It's right on that main floor, right before like when you check in.
So that'll be a good. Oh,
It's
so
this-
it's before you check in, like.
Yeah. It's before you check in. There's a little food court right in the middle. And then there's the domestic. If you're looking at the airport, there's domestic on the left and there's international on the right.
Okay.
And there's this big, beautiful Bill Reed sculpture that's right there. It's this native.
It's right in the food court.
It's right in front of the food court.
I think I was sitting there, and I
It's-
was thinking about doing one.
It's like a canoe
Yeah.
with people. It's like this beautiful, massive native sculpture. It's beautiful. Do it in front of that.
Okay.
Although that airport in Vancouver, there's so much.
Well, when I arrived, you like go through this whole like garden with like this music.
Yeah, it's like
and everything.
it's like you can hear the birds chirping, and you're like there's
even
water flowing.
Customs.
And,
I love the customs. I don't care how big that line is. I'm like, I'm in this wonderful airport. This is
It's like
incredible.
they try to like recreate a rainforest in the airport. It's really nice.
And it's been like that since my first time here when I was 15 years old, 20 years ago. But I
lovely.
still like hits me like, this is the coolest place ever.
And then you step outside, as we talked about earlier today,
Yep.
and you take a deep breath, and you're like, oh my God, the air is amazing. British Columbian fresh air. Every time I
Yeah.
travel, it's one of my favorite things is when I'm finished and I step off the plane and I get outside and I take a deep breath and I'm like, I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
Trees.
Yep. I love trees as well. Like, this is why I'm moving here. I'm
Right on.
addicted to trees.
I love it.
Save the trees. Let's go.
Save the trees. All right, so
At least if it's big as this table, like, don't cut it down, please.
yeah, right.
Like, this is too big.
It's so big, but
Yeah.
so I don't. There's a zone called. Well, I'm not gonna tell you about it now.
Fairy Creek.
No.
Oh.
No, I'm not talking. I'm not
Save
talking.
Fairy Creek.
Yeah. I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about ski runs on Whistler Blackcomb.
Which is hard too, because I mean they were cut down so we could have a ski run.
Well, no, there's a zone that I'm not gonna. People know. I'm not. We'll just.
Oh, your favorite spot to ski? That was. The
Oh yeah, you were
question I
gonna
was
ask me that. Yeah.
So I'm new to town. Where should I go day one? What should I do?
just come meet me in the morning.
Are we going to take the Blackcomb gondola or the Whistler gondola? Where do I park?
Lot 8
Lot 8.
because it's free.
Okay,
Which
I
is
like
big,
that.
which is like side of Blackcomb.
Do people like tailgate at their cars like
Not
they do
really.
in Utah?
Not really.
Because it's kind of wet, right?
No.
People
it's
just don't tailgate. It's
not
tailgating
really.
is so huge in Utah. That's like everyone just
Because
drives up to tailgate.
It's because they live in Utah, and there's really no other place to drink with your friends that's fun than like the parking lot because it's Utah, and then also the mountains. This isn't a knock on anybody in Utah, but compared to where I live, So you're like, oh, that was fun. Okay, what are we gonna do? Let's go party in the parking lot. That's my opinion on it.
Or even they have to party before they go on the mountain.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Right.
Don't drink and ski, guys. Don't do it.
It's part of the ski code.
Don't do
It's
it.
like, I don't know what
Never
number
done
it is.
Never done it.
I got drunk skiing once.
You've seen me dance, right? So I could not drink and ski. It would I would be doing like triple backflips off a cliff.
I've been drunk skiing
Yeah, don't
once.
do it.
Where I got we had some drinks afterwards, and I've had a buzz skiing before. Not often. I don't drink that much, but I was drunk on skis once, and I was skiing from the top to the bottom, and I was skiing this groomer, and I was taking a carve, and I got off balance, and I'm like on my outside edge, and I eat shit, and then I get outside edge, and I told myself I am never doing that again.
Yeah, because you just like, isn't it crazy not being in control? Like that's not good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you you need something, we'll just smoke a joint. It's
or
Canada.
Just breathe through your nose.
It's Canada. That shit's legal here now, right? Way
so
easier.
Good. Air is so good.
Way easier.
And just go ski. Try to scare yourself. That's another really great drug.
So that's in your mid to late 30s, early 40s. I'm not a big fan of that anymore.
30-somethings. Scaring yourself?
Not a big fan of that anymore.
Oh, I love it.
It's like,
Still love it.
holy shit.
But you don't, Mark,
because if you scare yourself right after, and you're like, holy shit, that was crazy, but I gotta work later. You know what I mean? Or I gotta look after my kids.
You might have to take it down a level. Maybe scare yourself on a little PVC rail. That's what I'm saying. Maybe learn a new little grab or something. That I'm not saying jump off this huge cliff or do this crazy line.
That scares me. Oh my God, I hit that pothole. Why is my truck making noise? Oh, that scares me. It's gonna cost.
But bottom line, super excited to be here in Whistler Blackcomb. Dream come true. Grete Eliassen is coming to town.
Damn straight.
I'm excited.
Do you always refer to yourself in the third person?
I guess I just did. I do, yeah, actually.
Grete Eliassen's gonna dance the shit out of this TikTok.
It's my stage name. Yes, it's coming in hot.
Well, I'm glad I could help you today. Glad we could hang out.
And we put your doggy to sleep.
No, Cedar just chills. She's the best.
The best. I know.
Cedar dog.
Yeah, you're a good girl.
Yeah, she's the LPP Cedar. There's an Instagram account for her, LPP Cedar.
I will follow you. You should get a TikTok.
Maybe it'll just be her chasing bears out of the yard.
I think that will be great.
Right.
I will watch that.
So I told you a half hour. It's 50 minutes.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I told you I talk.
Yeah, I know. Me too. That's why it's easy. It's easy. We could go for probably 3. Whenever I watch.
And imagine if we had a subject to dissect,
oh my God,
X Games or I have 3, whatever it is. I mean, I have a lot of opinions.
We just randomly went.
They're not
off of
always the right
we
opinions.
We had 0 plan this time.
And we killed it.
Absolutely. Well, you're back.
September.
In September. You're moving to Canada. I'm
Yep.
excited for you. I've seen your house. It's awesome. We went there today. Living in Pemby. And I'm sure we'll have to do lots more of these. Maybe it'll make it a regular thing.
If anyone that's listening wants more, let Mark know, and he will reach out to
Let
me.
Greta know.
Or you could hit me up at greta.ski on Instagram, TikTok.
Oh, did
Check
you
out
get
my
one of those
YouTube.
dot skis?
Check out my YouTube. Subscribe, because if I get to 1,000 followers, Mark, on YouTube, I start making the money.
Yeah, me too. We're at 3. I think we're 340 or something like that. So every single episode for the last 2 years, well, this past year and a little bit from the year before, you can watch us. I'll edit that so you can see.
You can rewatch us.
Yeah. So you can
it.
watch and listen.
Yeah.
And I think you should do that. Even if you don't, just hit subscribe. Even if you never watch it.
It helps us.
Yeah.
It helps us continue to create this amazing content for you
Yeah.
all.
This place is freaking expensive to live in.
Yes.
And even a little bit helps. And I want to make sure I can do cool stuff for you. So we actually do full episodes, and then we do highlight clips as well.
Awesome.
All sorts of neat stuff. We were chatting about that, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Down the road. All right. Greta, I told you we'd do it in a half hour. It's been an hour.
I can keep going, but I know we have to wrap it up.
You have
People
to go.
have to make dinner. I got to go to dinner.
Now I know.
I got to go skiing tomorrow.
Now I know how those 3-hour podcasts.
Just keep going.
I never really understood that, because usually I get a nice podcast. I get a nice good hour and 20. Turpin was the longest one. I think we did almost 2 hours, just because I've known him for 20 years. But I'm like, how do you go for 3 hours? I think you and I could easily do 3 hours every week.
But we'd have to split it up.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Awesome.
We have to film it too.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
important.
I'm stoked you're here.
Same.
Enjoy the rest of your week. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
we'll connect again at some
I have
point.
to thank you again, Mark, for creating this podcast, because it really motivated me, inspired me to get back into skiing.
That's
and
cool.
not I always skied, but back into the industry of skiing.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That makes me really happy. That's probably one of the things I'm most proud of in this entire show.
Oh.
I didn't know. That's awesome.
And then here I am, like, moving next door.
Because you were one of my heroes, for
crazy.
real. When I was
Yeah.
like skiing and watching, like all like
Ski
you were,
porn, all the things.
you were a hero. You were like, boom, you were right at the very top of your game. Mm-hmm. You have a fucking world record,
31
and it
feet.
still holds today.
Which is insane, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I want to see people try and break it.
I do too. I think they could.
How long is it? It's been like 10, 15 years?
Yeah, I did it it was like when I was first dating my now husband. That we've been together for over like 12 years, so long time ago.
World record hip. What is the official name of it?
Yeah, it's a world record hip. It's a world record. It's a world hip record.
31 feet?
And the reason I did the hip, because, you know, you always saw that back in the day, the snowboarders in Hemsedal, Norway, like they would do the Burton photo shoot there, and you'd see like Mads Jonsson and a bunch of Burton snowboarders, and they just had these beautiful like airs, and they were just like floating, and that was always my goal, is to like see how big I could go, like in the air, because I love airtime. It's like you're an angel, you're flying. It's amazing.
Do you think you could replicate it?
Yeah, I have to do some squats this summer, but I would love to like.
You think you could break it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah.
I think you'd want to.
If I had it built up nicely and I did the training before, like all the squats and stuff, I don't know if I'd want to.
Would you like work?
I have no like desire to break it, but I do have the desire to just be in the air that long again.
If you could find the right shaper,
yes,
and work with them to build that jump, would it be something that you would want to potentially do?
100%. I would love to show a highlight.
I want you to break your record. I want you to try and break your record, but also invite some of these other.
Yeah, to like do it. It'd be like kind of
that could be the thing we were talking about. Let's try and break my record and invite a bunch of people. Tell them the year before and be like, hey, we're going to meet at the end of the season. And the goal is...
Yeah, it's got to be soft. Number one. It has to be spring.
We're going to build this hip. Yep. And the goal is to break my record. I'm going for it, but I want to see if you guys can do it.
Yeah, because I just want the photo of me like just going big as like a mom. Like, what's up, kids? Mom's taking a break for a minute and then come back down.
Yeah.
And then also inspire them to keep jumping. I think it'd be so sick. And have my boys watch me do that.
Right.
Live.
My mom's cool as shit, man.
That was I actually went to Woodward Copper last year, and I got to coach these like 10-year-old kids, and they were just so cute. They're like, do your kids like know who you are? Like, yeah, my mom's an X Games gold medalist. Like, no big deal. Like, my kids are so young, but I mean, maybe one day they'll say that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome, Greta. I'm gonna drive you back to camp because they're waiting for you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Of course.
Nice hanging out with you today, and everybody. Go subscribe to YouTube. Listen. If you're listening, you're listening. Thanks for being here.
But click that subscribe because seriously, we got to get to 1,000. It really helps us.
Yeah. See, it's hard for me to ask for stuff like that, so I'm glad you're here.
And back to what you were saying, how I asked like to get the ride to Pemberton. I had 2 no's before I asked you. P.S. So I asked 3 people or 4, and like 3 were no's, and you said the yes. You have to ask.
Hey man, what are you doing? Can you drive me tomorrow at 3:40? Very so specific. Hey, can you drive me to Pemberton tomorrow at 3:45? Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, and then maybe we can do a podcast before and after. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, great.
Perfect.
All right.
But I did get the no's too, right? And you just have to be like, whatever, just try the next one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole nother podcast. Or drive to Pemberton and back.
Pro tip, just keep asking.
Pro tip, keep asking. All right, we're at just under an hour.
We did it!
All right. Thanks, and we'll talk to you guys sooner than you think. Welcome back to the Low Pressure Podcast. Oh, and check out Greta's podcast, What's Your Line?
With Greta. I have 3 new episodes with Carrie Herman, Tatum Minode, and Alyssa Seeley, who won the gold in Tokyo for the Paralympic triathlon.
Which came out when?
It came out like last month, but I haven't posted it on the gram yet, but just go check it out.
Yeah, What's Your Line with Greta?
Yeah.
All right.
And check out my YouTube too, Grete Eliassen.
Yeah, and
Hit the
TikTok
subscribe.
and,
We got to get to 1,000.
You were here. You heard it all. All right. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching this video on the LPP YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. And while you're here, you may as well watch this great LPP highlights video. Thanks.